Level 1. Martian Arrival. You are a brave settler standing at the edge of your habitat module, gazing out at the vast crimson landscape of Mars. The sky above is a sickly yellow, and the air is thin and cold. You can see the curvature of the planet on the horizon, a reminder of the unforgiving environment that surrounds you. Your first task is to unpack the habitat modules, deploying solar panels to generate power and conducting soil tests to determine the best location for your life support systems. You work quickly, knowing that every minute counts in this hostile environment. As you work, you realize that you are controlled by Earth Mission Control, with some autonomy in daily decisions. Your weekly stipend is $20,000, with $10,000 going towards habitat maintenance. But you also know that if you fail to deploy your life support systems, oxygen levels will drop, and you'll suffocate within 24 hours, losing the entire mission. The harsh Martian environment and isolation will take a mental toll, with some settlers experiencing severe psychological breakdowns. You've heard the slang terms dust devils for massive Martian storms, Sol for Martian days, and Hab for habitat modules. You remember the quotable line, "The red planet is not for the faint of heart." Isha, you think about NASA's Mars exploration program, with its first human mission scheduled for 2050, and how it inspired you to become a settler. You take a moment to appreciate the stark beauty of your surroundings, but you know that you can't afford to get distracted. You have to focus on establishing a reliable food source, or your team will starve, and the mission will be deemed a failure. The Martian soil lacks essential nutrients, making it difficult to grow crops, and the psychological effects of isolation are starting to manifest. You feel a sense of unease, knowing that you're not just fighting against the environment, but also against your own mental health. Level 2. Habitat Establishment. You are a seasoned settler with a solid foundation under your belt. You've established a reliable food source, and your habitat is starting to feel like home. But you know that there's still much work to be done. You need to construct greenhouses, set up hydroponic systems, and establish a reliable water supply. You work tirelessly, knowing that every step forward is a step towards a sustainable future. You're in charge of your own habitat, but Earth Mission Control still oversees resource allocation and major decisions. Your weekly stipend is $30,000, with $15,000 allocated for expansion and maintenance. As you work, you realize that the Martian soil lacks essential nutrients, making it difficult to grow crops, and the psychological effects of isolation are starting to manifest. You've heard the slang terms hydro for hydroponic systems, greenie for greenhouses, and recycle for waste management. You remember the quotable line, "A sustainable habitat is the backbone of any successful Martian settlement." You think about the Mars Society's plans for establishing a permanent human settlement on Mars and how it inspired you to become a settler. You feel a sense of pride, knowing that you're part of a larger community that's working towards a common goal. Level 3. Resource Extraction. You are a skilled settler with a deep understanding of the Martian terrain. You've established a reliable food source, and your habitat is thriving. But you know that there's still much work to be done. You need to deploy mining drones, extract water ice, and set up solar-powered smelting facilities. You work efficiently, knowing that every resource counts in this unforgiving environment. You're in control of resource extraction, but Earth Mission Control still dictates how resources are allocated. Your weekly stipend is $40,000, with $20,000 going towards resource extraction and processing. As you work, you realize that the Martian environment is harsh, and equipment failures can be catastrophic, putting the entire settlement at risk. You've heard the slang terms drones for mining robots, smelt for solar-powered smelting, and ice for water ice deposits. You remember the quotable line, "The Martian terrain is a treasure trove of resources, but it demands respect and caution." You think about SpaceX's plans for establishing a permanent human presence on Mars, with a focus on resource extraction and utilization. You feel a sense of excitement, knowing that you're on the cusp of a major breakthrough. Level 4. Community Building. You are a charismatic leader, with a vision for a thriving Martian community. You've established a reliable food source, and your habitat is thriving, but you know that there's still much work to be done. You need to construct living quarters, set up community centers, and implement education and training programs. You work tirelessly, knowing that every step forward is a step towards a sustainable future. You're in charge of community development with some autonomy in decision-making, but still answerable to Earth Mission Control. Your weekly stipend is $50,000, with $25,000 allocated for community development and social programs. As you work, you realize that the Martian environment can be unforgiving, and community members may not always get along, leading to conflicts and power struggles. You've heard the slang terms quarters for living areas, COM for community centers, and EdProg for education and training programs. You remember the quotable line, "A strong community is the heart of any successful Martian settlement." You think about the Mars One project's plans for establishing a permanent human settlement on Mars with a focus on community building and social dynamics. You feel a sense of hope, knowing that you're creating a new society that will thrive on the red planet. Level 5. Autonomy and expansion. You are a confident leader with a vision for a self-sufficient Martian settlement. You've established a thriving community, and your habitat is flourishing. But you know that there's still much work to be done. You need to establish a local government, set up trade relationships with other Martian settlements, and expand resource extraction and processing. You work efficiently, knowing that every step forward is a step towards independence. You're in charge of your settlement, with significant autonomy in decision-making, but still maintaining a relationship with Earth Mission Control. Your weekly stipend is $60,000, with $30,000 allocated for expansion and trade. As you work, you realize that the Martian environment is unforgiving, and expansion comes with significant risks, including equipment failures and resource depletion. You've heard the slang terms autonomy for independence, trade for inter-settlement commerce, and expansion for growth and development. You remember the quotable line, "Independence is the key to unlocking the true potential of any Martian settlement." You think about the European Space Agency's plans for establishing a permanent human presence on Mars, with a focus on autonomy and self-sufficiency. You feel a sense of pride, knowing that you're on the path to creating a truly independent Martian settlement. Level 6. Sustainability and growth. You are a seasoned leader, with a deep understanding of the Martian environment. You've established a self-sufficient settlement, and your community is thriving. The stakes are high, with the entire settlement at risk of collapse. You know that if you fail to respond effectively, you'll lose everything you've worked for. You work tirelessly, knowing that every step forward is a step towards a sustainable future. You're in control of your settlement, with complete autonomy in decision-making, but still facing challenges and risks. Your weekly stipend is $80,000, with $40,000 allocated for sustainability and growth initiatives. As you work, you realize that the Martian environment is harsh, and sustainability comes with significant challenges, including resource depletion and equipment failures. You've heard the slang terms SUST for sustainability, RENEW for renewable energy, and INFRA for infrastructure development. You remember the quotable line, "Sustainability is the key to unlocking the long-term potential of any Martian settlement." But you think about the long-term implications of your decisions and how they will impact the future of your settlement. You feel a sense of responsibility, knowing that you're shaping the destiny of your community. Level 7. Crisis sequence. You are a resilient leader, facing a major crisis that threatens the very existence of your settlement. A massive dust storm is approaching, and your life support systems are failing. You have to act quickly, deploying emergency protocols and rationing resources. You work efficiently, knowing that every minute counts. The crisis unfolds as follows. 9 o'clock. The storm warning system alerts you to the impending dust storm. 10 o'clock. You deploy emergency protocols, sealing off non-essential areas and rationing resources. 1100. The storm hits, causing widespread damage and disrupting life support systems. 1200. You assess the damage and begin to implement repairs and recovery efforts. You feel a sense of urgency, knowing that every decision counts. You've heard the slang terms dust devil for massive Martian storms and life support for the systems that keep your settlement alive. You remember the quotable line, "A crisis is an opportunity for growth and adaptation." You think about the consequences of your actions and how they will impact the future of your settlement. Level 8. Recovery and rebuilding. You are a determined leader, rebuilding your settlement after the devastating dust storm. You've assessed the damage and begun to implement repairs and recovery efforts. You work tirelessly, knowing that every step forward is a step towards recovery. You're in charge of your settlement, with complete autonomy in decision-making, but still facing challenges and risks. Your weekly stipend is $100,000, with $50,000 allocated for recovery and rebuilding efforts. As you work, you realize that the Martian environment is harsh. Recovery comes with significant challenges, including resource depletion and equipment failures. You've heard the slang terms rebuild for reconstruction efforts and recover for recovery initiatives. You remember the quotable line, "Recovery is not just about rebuilding, but about becoming stronger and more resilient." You think about the long-term implications of your decisions and how they will impact the future of your settlement. You feel a sense of hope, knowing that you're creating a stronger and more resilient community. Level 9. Legacy and expansion. You are a visionary leader, shaping the future of your Martian settlement. You've rebuilt and recovered from the devastating dust storm, and your community is thriving. You've established a legacy, and your settlement is a beacon of hope for humanity. You work efficiently, knowing that every step forward is a step towards a brighter future. You're in charge of your settlement, with complete autonomy in decision-making and a deep understanding of the Martian environment. Your weekly stipend is $120,000, with $60,000 allocated for legacy and expansion initiatives. As you look out at your settlement, you realize that you've achieved something truly remarkable. You've created a thriving community on the Red Planet, and you've paved the way for future generations. You feel a sense of pride, knowing that you've left a lasting legacy. You think about the 3 possible ending scenarios: a thriving Martian society, a catastrophic failure, or a mysterious disappearance. You know that the future is uncertain, but you're confident that you've made the right decisions. You look out at the Martian landscape, and you know that you've truly made a difference. This is the life you chose.